Welcome to Tamer Bowling Video Ball Reviews. For all your bowling needs, check out our partner, PerfectAimBowling.com. Today we are testing the Hammer Cherry Vibe. Tester 1 is yours truly, a medium speed lefty tweener. Tester 2 is a high speed, high rev player. We are testing on a 40-foot medium house shot. Okay, first impressions of the Hammer Cherry Vibe. It looks just like I remember it. It rolls just like I remember it. Not as strong as I remember, but things change and that's a good thing. Still the house shot killer. For house shot value, we gave the Cherry Vibe a 10 out of 10. This is the first time I've given any ball a perfect score for value. The advantage the Cherry Vibe has is that it's a remake, so we know what we will see long term. Evaluating the ball reaction plus the long term reliability and predictability makes this ball an unbeatable value. Overall, we gave the Cherry Vibe a 9 out of 10. If you've had the fortune to throw the Hammer Cherry Vibe in the past, there will be no real surprises. The ball gets easy length as you would expect from a moderately weak cover and makes a smooth transition. The back end strength is based on the volume and when it sees dry. In other words, if you feed it into more dry, it makes a harder move, but I wouldn't consider it flippy. Missing a little and it doesn't react so hard. It blends the pattern nicely. That characteristic that makes it easy to use on a house shot actually works quite well on a sports shot as well. Imagine that. The first thing I initially noticed with the 2017 version is that it isn't as strong as I remember, and that comes down to the new oils compared to what was out back when it first came out about 10 years ago. Nevertheless, this ball is immensely usable on typical house shots. So the lefty tweener first. As I was editing, I realized I threw 6 strikes in a row. You can see that I wasn't exactly throwing the ball perfectly. It actually turns out to be the perfect way to show you how good the Cherry Vibe is. It blended my misses and carried everything. 12 to 6 was about the right line with lots of plus or minus room. Comparing to the Black Widow Gold, that ball needs about 17 to 6. They're great complements if you want similar movement and shape but need weaker or stronger. Sean was next, our high rev tester. Once he understood what he was looking at, he had a line anywhere between 13 and 19 at the arrows, out to 6 at the breakpoint. So he could just find whatever sweet spot that made him comfortable. For him, the Black Widow Gold starts around 20 to 6, so again, there's a clear differentiation in strength. We also tested the Hammer Cherry Vibe on a 39-foot 22mm sport compliance shot. For me, the lefty tweener, 13 to 8 was a pretty good line. Again, the Cherry Vibe showed off some of its smooth, controllable, but continuous motion. It's still pretty strong down lane, but very predictable. It works a little better as the pattern breaks down, but you can put surface on it to use it on this pattern that plays a little on the shorter side. For Sean, 15 to 6 was probably the best line. You could see that he could get in pretty deep as this is a sport pattern and there will be friction down lane, but it was a little over-under from way inside. I think surface would aid here to smooth that shape somewhat. In terms of final thoughts, the Hammer Cherry Vibe is a winner. I will undoubtedly be keeping one in my personal bag again. Extremely high bang for the buck, consistent and reliable ball reaction, can actually be used on lower volumes effectively. And one thing I didn't mention too much, but I have to stress, has a very continuous motion through the pins. Core cover matchup is perfect. On medium and lower volume house shots, this is easily the first ball out of the bag if you're a tweener. Strokers may prefer more surface to start, or using this as the pattern breaks down. Surely a cranker can use this first out of the bag, no question. And that's it. I always wished I hadn't gotten rid of my first Cherry Vibe. Hammer did me a huge favor. In terms of the shots that didn't make the cut, for me, I don't really have much to show in misses other than the gutter ball, which tells you nothing except I threw it terribly. All the misses were strikes. You actually saw them in the beginning of the video. For Sean, you can see a little more over-under, and that's the nature of having more hand using a weaker pro. You can force it through the spot, but you can also get on it and it'll react strongly. Nevertheless, the ball still blends the pattern nicely and you can make surface changes to affect that shape.
Thank you for watching Tamer Bowling Video Ball Review.